David Bakhtiari getting a little comfortable there on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast. But, that's consistent with what I had heard throughout the offseason. The Packers players are just numb to it. Aaron Rodgers has been the focal point of so much conversation, so much speculation created by him. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? What's he going to do? You get to a point where you're just numb to it.
Yeah.
Like the first year you worry about it. The second year maybe it's on your radar screen. By the third year you're like, what the hell? I'm used to this by now. Yeah. It's a constant question, and everybody asks me about it, and there's nothing to say, there's nothing to do, there's nothing to know. He'll let us know at the appropriate time, and I feel like Bakhtiari has become a victim of that fatigue along with everyone else.
Well, sure, yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, we all have, right? I mean, I love Aaron Rodgers. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks to ever play, and we've had some points over the last year where I just go, oh, we're gonna talk about this again. I mean, yeah, how could you not be? And then, not only just this, but, hey, it's everything, too. Then stuff of it is not Rodgers' fault, whether the Jordan Love draft pick and all of that. I mean, that wasn't his fault. So that led to it. And then before that, it was, he can't win the big game and he's overrated, or, how good is he really, and all of that. So there's always that kind of controversy around Aaron Rodgers and that talk, to where I'm sure they are numb to it. And that's one where that clip right there, I read the quote yesterday. It reads worse than what it actually is. When you read it, you go, oh, it sounds like a guy that's like, if it ain't one thing, it's another with him. Oh, my gosh. And that wasn't the case at all there. He kind of said it in a way like you're saying, like, man, if it's not one thing, it's another. There's always something about Rodgers. Like you said, it's just they're used to it, and they hear it all the time, and I'm sure they are numb to it now, and it's not their problem anymore.
There was a conversation also about the leverage, the Packers, the Jets, who's got the upper hand. We're waiting for this deal to get done. I still think it gets done possibly during round 2 of the draft coming up, what will be 16 days from now, that Friday night, the 28th of April. Bakhtiari volunteered a third option that, if anybody in the media had articulated it, I'd say who cares. But when this call is coming from inside the house, when Bakhtiari, who maybe has heard a thing or two, or there's stuff that's being discussed around teammates, something maybe he's heard from Rodgers himself, that's what got my attention. A guy on the Packers throwing out this alternative third theory for what could happen between Rodgers, the Jets, and the Packers. Have a listen to what Bakhtiari said.
Again, I'm not being a homer. They're just thinking about the situations. God. Just hear it out is, the Packers are rebuilding, whether you think so or not. They don't could they be good? I don't know. Could they be bad? Probably. If you're betting, more people are going to think they're going to be bad than good. Mm-hmm. Right? Isn't that fair to say?
Fair.
So then they'll be like, well, we're going to suck anyways. We want what we want, and we're not going to bend anyone, so we'll just eat it. You can stay sell and retire. We'll pay you. We don't care, because we're going to, if we're going to do it our way, it's going to be on our terms. If not, what are we like? Were we going to be Super Bowl contenders anyways? I don't think it'd get that contentious. I do think they'll probably come to an agreement. He'll get traded. They'll get what they want, and then time will probably say whether it was who won what. But I'm saying I do think that it could be a third option if things got so bad.
You're right. I've changed my mind.
No, we want this, and that's it, because we know we're going to get them. Like, okay, well,
going somewhere else. Well, because
what were you thinking?
I was thinking they just say no, and Aaron still plays for the Packers next year, which I think is not happening.
Yeah, I can't say. I think that has officially probably been put to rest.
Yeah,
I think they gave the keys to Jordan. Said that.
I was going to say,
the last thing you want to do is like.
Wait, first.
So
yeah, okay. Can I say first off, they need to give him more leg room. Okay, the damn guy's all crouched up and his knees are in his chest. All right, I mean, damn, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Second thing is, is it weird to you that Bakhtiari keeps talking about the Packers like he's not on their football team? Like they right? Is that weird?
When every fan of every team feels like it's perfectly permissible to say we,
right?
To have a guy who's on the team say they,
and like the highest paid
guy,
yeah, right. It's like weird. I didn't get that at first. I literally was sitting there watching that, going, "Wait, did something happen with Bakhtiari that I don't know about here?" But interesting perspective he has there, and I don't think that third theory is a real thing. I don't think.
Here's why it is worth at least paying a little attention to, beyond the fact that a guy on the team said it, because either he thought of it on his own or he heard it from somebody else, okay?
Yeah.
But the idea that there isn't an owner from whose pocket the $60 million will flow if they would squat on Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, right.
You don't have that traditional structure of how much am I going to siphon off to pay for my super yacht. So they could just absorb it into the books. They could just write it off. Now, it's cap space that they're going to have to deal with, but they're going to take a cap hit one way or the other. Still, it's $60 million in fresh dollars they're giving to Aaron Rodgers that has to be accounted for in future caps. That becomes an impediment. But if at the end of the day they're not getting what they want and they want to prove a point, that's a hell of a way to prove a point. And if it was anybody but somebody on the team, in the organization, I would have ignored it. The fact that it was Bakhtiari made me curious. The fact that he refers to the Packers as they made me curious. The fact that he just seems to presume they're going to stink this year made me curious. And later in that podcast, he makes a comment about wanting to be traded in jest, and he laughs in just that sort of way that people laugh when they hear a joke or tell a joke that has some truth to it,
right,
and it strikes that right chord, and it makes a truth pop out of your mouth via that laugh. And it makes me wonder how much Aaron Rodgers is already working on David Bakhtiari to get him to ask for a trade, to maybe posture for him to go to the Jets. Because when Rodgers back in January was rattling off the names of all the guys that he wants to still be on the team, Mercedes Lewis, Randall Cobb, Alan Lazard, David Bakhtiari was one of them.
Yeah, no, this is his buddy. I mean, this is the guy he gets in chugging contests with at the Milwaukee Buck games, right? And drinking beer, and Rodgers holds up his hand and like, hold on a minute, let me finish this. So, I mean, they're obviously friends. And I hear you with what you're saying with Bakhtiari, and he's a major player in that organization. You know, you would think, yeah, he's had a coach or somebody tell him something. One thing I will say that I think you can like get an inkling from there is by telling that he's letting you know that how much the Packers don't like Aaron Rodgers. That's on the table. We'll screw over our own organization just to spite Aaron Rodgers, right? That's the inkling I got. Is like, damn, he knows they don't like him that much that they might actually go, we don't want things that are going to make our team better, and we're going to waste value of an asset that has incredible value just to teach him a freaking lesson. So that you can take away from it and go, he realizes they don't like him that much that that's in his brain percolating that they might do that. I don't think, again, you know, to your owner thing or whatever, I don't think it'd be good business just to do that to spite him, right? You're wasting that. Do you want to be good in future years or not? Do you want 2 or 3 second-round picks and some other things to make your team better or not? Or do you just want to say, I won the kerfuffle with Aaron Rodgers? And that's where I would go. That's like, you know, what are they biting your nose off to spite your face?
Yes, very well done.
Thank
and
you.
again, this is one of the realities of not having an owner, because corporate think like that. Agendas like that can filter into decision making, and the next thing you know, something that seems highly unconventional becomes the norm, becomes the thing you do, because there isn't an owner to say, what the hell are you talking about? We're not going to pay this guy $60 million for spite. We're going to give him $60 million for spite. Hey, if anybody out there wants to give me $60 million for spite, I'll take it. You can spite me all you want. You can spite me twice if you want, if it's $60 million per spite. So, but still, it's Bakhtiari, and something's going on there with they, and something weird is happening with him and the team. I think that oozes from the broader conclusions of, number one, he needs more leg room. Number two, long pants would have been nice. And number three, they pulled the camera off me for just happening to scratch my neck and my chin and my nose with my middle finger. But if you're watching that clip that was up, there's that F-bomb, plain as day in the back. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I think it's funny. It doesn't bother me. But don't take the camera off me when I happen to have an itch that I scratch with a middle finger.
Yeah,
That's
well,
all I'm
you
saying.
know, sometimes you got to scratch
Pete's
that white part
Uh-oh.
of your neck, that really, really white part of your
Pete's
neck.
in trouble. Pete said it's been nice working with us, although I don't think he believes that. And he is referring to the show as they now. So another sign that Pete may have cooked his own goose by not blurring out the F word. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.